talk to none of my brothers and sisters at this time. So I told the story, and anybody that's ever seen the Eddie Page story knows that, okay, it would be about 2 or 3 years later, some people in the UFO community said, well, that's disinformation. We found out that didn't really happen. We know something happened, but that wasn't what happened. What really happened? He knows. But he could be a disinformation agent. Now we found out there's a big possibility he works for the Central Intelligence Agency. And you know how they are. You know what? Fox, Mulder, and Scully had it all going on with the X-Files. But they didn't know that the X-Files was sitting right in the middle of Project Aquarius. You can call it whatever you want. We call it what we knew it as. And yeah, I gave a story. People loved it. I mentioned some true facts that actually took place, but I could not go out and say, yes, it was I that came out of that helicopter with that machine gun. And yes, it was I that waded in the enemy. It was I, Abaddon, that destroyed them right there before 300-something Marines to witness firsthand. And I left the area unharmed. Well, I took some wounds. I took a little beating, but I survived. And why did I survive? Because my people were there to retrieve me. And yes, I still have scars from it. I have vivid memories of it. But go tell somebody. I'm not of this world. I'm not a human hybrid either. I am a product of my Father. It was through my Father's seed that I am here. It's my Father's seed that we're all here. So, after 1994, they left me alone, and I went back to Stillwater, and I was assured they're very proud of what you did. You have stepped across the line now, Eddie, and you're starting to talk about yourself, and the others will soon follow and step across that line with you. It was a unit. It was a family unit. That's the way I looked at it. To prepare mankind of what was already here, but what that darkness that was coming. Early 1995, Giles called me again. He says, Eddie, he says, Bob Brown at the International UFO Congress has had a overwhelming reply and report from people requesting you come back this year as the main speaker because you left them last year kind of scratching their head. I said, no, I didn't. He said, yeah, he says, you would bring a message one day from your Father for the world. They want you to come back and bring that message. And I said, you know what? I do know the message. I live the message. Okay. You want to contact the others? I would love them to be there. So when I went back in 1995, 2 years in a row, I'm the main speaker there. I mean, there was people from all over the world. I mean, no joke, Germany, France, England, Canada, Mexico, South America. I mean, there was people from Israel, Japan, China. Coming to see a little old country boy from Lakeland, Florida. Well, the word had done got out. This boy from Lakeland, Florida might not be from Lakeland, Florida. Let's go see what this is all about. And I flew in there, and I brought my wife this time, and my child. And I told my wife, I said, I want you to sit there. Raymond's going to be there with you. Raymond's going to be your second shadow. After all, I got many shadows now.
So, they arranged to have Raymond with you?
Absolutely.
But you weren't getting a paycheck from them at that point?
Oh, no. I wasn't.
You were on your own.
So
how did that come about that they were going to bring your handler in?
Well, it was good to see Raymond. The understanding was, Giles says, that we don't know who will be there. And my wife wanted to go. And my child had never flown in an airplane before. So it was an experience for both of them. And I remember when I flew on an airplane for the first time. Raymond said he would give his life for my wife and my child. After all, that's what he had been trained to do for me. And when I got there, I was picked up at the airport, and there was a lot of people there. They took us to our hotel, and Giles came up, talked with us. Bob Brown came up, and Bob Brown says, he says, Eddie, he says, this is the biggest convention I have ever had. And this was like Bob's Brown 7th or 8th or 9th convention that he'd put on. This was the biggest one, man-wise, attendance-wise, he'd ever had. And I was going to speak on a Friday at 1 o'clock. From 1 o'clock till whenever I get done was my time. And when I went on stage, I looked out across that auditorium, and it was packed. I mean, they had people outside on the pool standing, and they had some big, I guess like Jumbotron TVs there where people could hear. They couldn't get everybody inside. And I thought, they have came to see me, to hear my Father's message. There's my brothers and sisters. Look at all the religious leaders. Oh my God, the Catholic Church is here. Oh Lord, I see Bob Lemke, my supervisor. I see many from the agency sitting out there. How could I see them? I just focused, and I looked, and I could see faces. My eyes would say, oh, there's one. Oh, there's two right there. There's my little girl, bless her heart. She's sitting down there going, smiling at Daddy. But when I gave the message, I let the people know. Things are going to come. And I gave them a preview. I gave them this hope, Margaret. Yeah, there's going to be some nasty times coming. But this is how we live on the Pleiades. This is how we, as a people, live. It's how we commune. And just think, the world can embrace this very same thing, for it was given a long time ago. I gave my message. It was of hope. It was of power. Most of all, it was of love. I think I said last night, love is the greatest gift. Just call me Santa Claus. I had all kind of text messages on my phone soon after that. You see, there is hope for the world. Very little hope. But the very little hope is the ones we embrace, because you know why? They're worthy. Am I here to pass judgment? No, I don't pass judgment. It's not my place to judge. There is somebody else that will judge. But I let the people know exactly what Jesus said. Those who have never heard my words, I didn't come to judge, for there is someone that will do that. But I came to save the world. And those who trust and believe and understand my words shall inherit the kingdom of God. Well, where is the kingdom of God going to be? Right here. It's called the New Jerusalem. No, it's not a city. It's the world. That's the hope. That's the hope. Yeah, we got people within the CIA, the federal government, and sad to say, the world government. There's world governments. They're all in this little basket, and they're pulling strings on people. And as long as they can keep the puppets working for them, well, you see the outcome of it today, Margaret.
So, let me ask your opinion on this. We keep hearing more and more about global governance.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that is a good thing?
Global governments. Well,
Or one world order?
I
New world order?
You've known me long enough. I'm notorious. I generally answer a question with a question. Whose governance are we talking about? Now, if you're talking about the Catholic Church or people within the ones that, as I said, the puppet masters that keep pulling the strings, no, there's nothing good at it, period. Because you don't have a say-so. Nobody has a say-so. But when my Father gets here, there will be a one world government. You can call it a new world order. We are going to call it the New Jerusalem. Because we will be living under our Father's love, protection. There will be no need for diseases. There will be no need for no more wars. And the ones that came and tried to destroy humanity on its own, well, there's a place for them. And it's not in this world. A one world leadership where everybody knows who the ruler is, who the Father is, and know that that Father, you know what? He sits upon a great throne, and He loves us, and I can go talk to Him anytime I want to. Now, you're talking about praying? No, I can actually go see Him and sit down with Him. I think that's a great thing. That is a great thing. A one rule. No more such things as religion, because now you found out the truth. No more pain and suffering. We don't have to worry about, Lord, I may not wake up tomorrow morning. These terrorists find out I'm a Christian. They're going to cut my head off. No more of that. Wow, children out there playing in a park. They don't have to worry about some deviant coming and taking them, raping them, hurting them. The homeless now have a place to call home. The sick, they're healed. There's no more sickness. The hungry have been fed. There will be no place for greed. There will be no place for deception. There will be no monetary system. And most of all, the beast. The beast. There will be no more beast. Because the beast will have been exposed. And the beast will be taken care of properly. Because people will see, God, I was led astray. And I almost was led to slaughter like sheep. Well, you know what? I think I'm going to go talk to my Lord and be able to sit there upon the mountain of the Lord and go see Him anytime you so desire. Because I think our Father told the many thousands of years ago, for there will be a time that I will embrace my children, for the day I have became a father of all. That's a beautiful statement, I think. What do you think?
I think so.
But right now, we are here, and we can't change what's coming.
Scary times.
Absolutely. We've identified the Antichrist. We have identified who the false prophet is going to be. We've identified certain time frames. And you know what? They know we're here. And they know their time is short. So let's get all the hoorah we can.
You think that's why the Vatican said that they would baptize aliens?
Yeah. In the whole world was led astray. I know the Bible just as good as anybody else. I know where the fairy tales lie. I know where the truth lies. And you know what? Many ministers today do too. And you don't have to go to a seminary or a theologian school to understand it. It stands out there, it's just like plain day. I look at it this way: if they don't want to believe it, that's your choice. But you'll find out a hard lesson, because it's going to happen. We're seeing it happen right now. It's starting to unravel. And we've called it the woes of man that leads into the great tribulations. There will be a 7.5-year period of turmoil, hate, and discontent. Oh yes, her mother shall watch her daughter burn. Judgment has been brought upon America, the third and final Babylon. Oh, I love this country. I loved what it stood for. I love its people. Hate is a very nasty 4-letter word. But love the people, hate the sin. And when I see the sin that's in this country, the great abomination has caused desolation, to know that when you see this, that the time is near. We've already seen it. And time is near.
Go ahead. You're on. I'm just going to let you talk, and then I'll figure this out. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever figure it out.
The Rishai scroll, actually known as the 7th scroll that led into the Anakin chant, the Nergil prayer. People would say, well, what is the Nergil prayer? Well, if we look into Revelation 6, it's commonly communicated as the opening of the 6th seal. I know what you're saying. We need to give people hope. But there is going to be hope. But there's going to be a cleansing before that hope arrives. In Revelation 6, we talk about the opening of that 6th seal. And it took place 5 minutes before midnight of 2011 and 5 minutes after 2011. I've made note of the things that happened. Immediately after the Nergil prayer was consummated, after it was finished. Oh, and 30 minutes before I started the prayer, I talked with Michael, and I talked with Daniel, the two main key players, and they both told me, with saddening hearts, that it must be done. I opened that 6th seal. Did I have remorse? Not at all. Did I lose sleep over it? No. Because I know what comes next. But suddenly after that happened, worldwide events started taking place. Birds were being found dead. Fishes washing up on the shores. A few months later, the big stuff starts coming. Earthquakes, tidal waves, volcano action. Oh, wait a minute, Eddie, hold on. We've had that for hundreds of years. Yeah, but not in the intensity we're seeing now. And that's just the beginning. Just the beginning. But suddenly, people around the world started hearing sounds in the air. Strange weather patterns, clouds. What is this all about? Asteroids are appearing, just barely missing Earth. And a few made it to Earth over Russia. They were filmed. People here in this country saw them. They've been filmed. That's just the beginning. So now, sounds that cannot be identified. It's not thunder. What is it? Well, those who've never read the Bible and those who have, it talks about it in Revelations, the sounding of the trumpets. Oh, no, nobody's there playing a Louis Armstrong trumpet or cornet. No, it is a metaphor for a warning, a grave warning that a time period is now upon you. It's just like the Mayan calendar. Oh, look at the hundreds of thousands of people that flocked down to Central America around the Mayan temples. December 21st, 2012. It's the end of the world. The Mayans never said it was the end of the world. It said it's the end of man's era. For a new era is about to be born. Well, everything recycles. Man is going to recycle into something much greater. Now, the UFO buffs, oh yeah, don't forget about them. Oh God, our space brothers are coming to save us. Well, I don't think so. Because if you really understand your space brothers, we go back to the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki, and in the biblical Nephilim, were one and the same. Different species, but one and the same. The biblical giants. Yet, we look also, and we see in the biblical record, the Anakai, the Anakims. And the Greeks called them the Inkan, or Anika. Well, the Anika were the same thing as the Hebrew Anakims. They were the little grays. They guarded the Garden of Eden. The Nephilim were there to protect God's creation within the Garden of Eden. Even the very word Eden means the great pasture. And within that pasture roamed freely the Adam. Remember what we said earlier? The Adam. It means human. Through thy blood and thy seed, thy children shall walk. Well, they knew who thy father was. They knew exactly where he came from, the Pleiades. Well, the Nephilim, they're also from that area. And when I say that area, the multiple universe. They were here to protect because life is precious. Go out and procreate. Be productive. Yet, the Draconians, Hallel, the Rephinians, they saw the children worshipped thy father. Comes back again. It's not much difference we see today in the human species. Greed and corruption. Well, back in ancient antiquity times, they wanted to be loved and worshipped also by the creation. Well, the creation did not know how to love universally because he had not been properly taught. He knew my father comes from them 7 pearls in the heaven. Them are the Pleiades. We love him. And he came and walked among his creation, among his children. But jealousy ensued. So if they love him, why don't they love us? Because we're down here teaching them. The biblical record talks about this very openly. The tree of knowledge. Eve took from the tree of knowledge and fed to Adam. Well, Eve, the birth mothers, were with their creation also, and they were giving love and teaching their children, just like the Anunnaki, the Draconians. So, when the Draconians could not be loved and worshipped by the first creation, they went back up to heaven. And they talked to Jabba. We are down there. They love you more than they love us. This can't be no more. But maybe they should have taught them that we're here too. And love is universal. Love us and love your father. But greed took over. And a war ensued out of the heavens because they challenged the gods. Gods. More than one. Several. And Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. But the dragon wasn't strong enough and he was cast to earth. Cast to earth. Woe ye inhabitants of the earth, for the devil has been cast down to you, and hell, well, actually it says the devil has been cast down to you, and he is full of wrath, and hell follows. That's in Revelations 12. Many, many ancient stories have been put into many, many biblical records. And when somebody say, well, the Bible is the inspired word of God, well, part of it is true. But there's a part in there that throws everybody for a loop. They're blinded. They can't see past their nose. They can't see the trees for the forest. And a war did come down in the heavens. Now, I don't care what the scientists say today. Oh, Sodom and Gomorrah never existed. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe an asteroid hit Sodom and Gomorrah. Well, no, because it was nuclear in nature. Weapons that was never intended to be upon the human species to start with. And if my people had not intervened, Margaret, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. You see the severity of it? Yet, in several cultures, the Mayans for one, the Incas, the Egyptians, including the Sumerians, Native Americans, all talk about the Rephinims, the dragon beast that came down and devoured the human species, ate the children, killed the children. So vile and so destructive. And all these cultures are telling the same story. And all these cultures also are saying that they were defeated by the blonde-haired giants, the tall giants. They fought to the death against these beasts. We find the evidence everywhere, everywhere. But what is more scary now is that it says that there will be a time in the not so distant future that man will see them again. They have vowed that they would return. That's why you see these things. Oh, I can tell you right now, there is a draconian craft